In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
I apologized to QAnon a couple of weeks ago. I said, you know, when it comes to this Epstein stuff, you had it righter than me. Now, they also believe a lot of real batshit nonsense. But when
now you think it's batshit,
they
right?
don't eat babies. Democrats don't eat babies.
Definitely worth checking into.
Round them all up. These people are sick pedophile groomers.
Every step you take, I'll be watching you.
Who gives a crap? I don't care.
Every single day.
You think they eat babies?
There is a lot of consumption talk in the stuff. Now, if are there babies? I don't know. No, you can laugh all you want.
Come on.
I'm not saying they're eating babies. I'm saying there
Okay.
is talk of consumption, and it ain't pizza.
Bingo.
You are fake news.
That's not even cool. Like, why they do that?
Very fake news.
Sabino arrest. LOL.
Correct. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes!
I've become friends with school shooters.
Wow.
All right, America, go to the YouTube right now.
Skag free, whoever he is.
Duct tape all over the place. It's a disgrace.
5, 4, 3.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Every breath you take.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. Thank you for tuning in. Sitting shotgun tonight in his usual Sunday seat is highly regarded author Matt Palumbo. Welcome back.
Saddle up, partner.
Good to be back.
My sources say you are ill, that you have contracted COVID.
I've contracted the vid, but I still made it out.
Hey, did you actually test for it? When you say that with scientific certainty or speculated diagnosis?
So I've been sick for, I think, 4 or so days. My wife and daughter went to the doctor today, and they both tested positive. And so by process of elimination, I would say.
Your daughter is how old now? Like a couple
3
months?
months.
Right? 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months. Is she going to make it with COVID?
She has no negative side effects at all. She's completely, I mean, she's a little fussier than usual, but she doesn't have a fever or anything, so that's good news. But it's more of a pain in the ass than anything. I don't feel sick. I just feel like I have a perpetually runny nose that's annoying. But
our whole house has had a sickness for a week or two, and it's the same. We probably have it too. Yeah, we have the sniffles. We have very low grade sore throats. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure it is the what strain are we on by now? Is it?
I don't. You remember when we had the Delta strain? I remember the airline Delta, when they would talk about the coronavirus, they would refer to it only by the or they would always refer to it by that strain at the time. And then once it was named the Delta variant, they just called it by the whatever the scientific name of coronavirus was. They wouldn't identify it as such. Yeah. But no, I've lost track of which one we're on now. But if I disappear at any point, I'm just blowing my nose very innocently.
And hopefully the stream will not disappear at any point. I do the sign tapping meme. I need to do the Lenny at the power plant and the Simpsons meme days since stream disaster. We did have one on Wednesday. So since your last appearance, we have had one technologically successful stream.
I saw that. I was proud of you guys. I'm a curse then, I think.
Appreciate
is the problem.
Well, Batman before you, he was the Scarlet Letter as well. But if I freeze at any time, tell me immediately in case I don't see it on my screen right away. Sure. That way we can get it going right away again. Anyway, follow Matt on X at MattPalumbo12. Find his latest book on Alex Soros linked in the description. I had a guest planned for tonight, but everybody knows I have the most flakeable show on the internet. So unfortunately, the guest segment will not be happening tonight.
What are you doing?
More Matt and Matt.
Yeah, it's just more Matt and Matt. So hopefully you love that too.
Speaking of which, did you see the Will Stancil story I posted?
I did. I just didn't know if we had enough time for more Stancil. But if we're short and you want to do a Stancil segment, we can do that.
He in under 30 seconds he got profiled by some liberal magazine and was driving them around for his like ICE patrol missions to target ICE people, and at some point accidentally drove into oncoming traffic. So it's the latest.
Are we talking about like on in a city street where it's not that consequential?
One way. Oh yeah,
okay.
But yeah,
I was thinking maybe on the interstate. Really, it's only illegal. Ironically, it's only illegal immigrants who drive the wrong way down the interstate. We've had several fatalities on the interstate around here from illegal immigrants driving the wrong way. I don't know what it is, because they're not even from the countries that do drive on the other side of the street. But for some reason, illegal immigrants drive on the wrong
the British are
side
fine on our streets.
On the interstate. Speaking of, another fatal truck driving incident we'll get to momentarily. Another one, unfortunately, this trend strikes again. We've had another illegal immigrant truck driver claiming a life on our roadways. But no guest tonight. We'll go through some other stuff instead. The duct tape rolls on. Of course, the big news of the week was that the Supreme Court struck down most of Trump's tariffs. We'll go through the decision, how much it'll really matter, since Trump is already announcing some new tariffs, but under different legal authority with different constraints. Amid a lot of tough talk with Iran and, of course, ongoing negotiations about their nuclear program and their nuclear energy, quote unquote, a lot of military buildup in the region. Are we about to launch another attack on Iran? We had the Top Gun mountain base strike. What was that, like half a year ago? I can't remember when that even happened.
I feel like it was more than a year, but time is just blending together at this point.
We're going to see if Tom Cruise can do another run. Maybe. We're ready to go. Former Prince Andrew. I always forget. You can't call him Prince Andrew. It's former Prince Andrew because his royal title has been stripped. But he was arrested for not for his alleged Epstein-related activity, but because he might have shared trade secrets with Epstein when they were in communication back around 2010. So we'll see how that goes. Sorry, do you have a thought?
I for some reason the YouTube algorithm suggested an Epstein video to me the other day, and it was a deposition of his where he says that
Andrew?
He hates
Epstein?
Jeffrey Epstein, where he says on the record that under oath that he hates pedophiles. So the whole story's gone.
Yeah, that's a plausible defense.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. He hates pedophiles.
Plus, we have Hoax Hate, and I have a fresh piece of surprise cringe for you. It's been a while since we've had a submission in the surprise cringe genre, but I think this one is worthy. Before we get into it, got to say hello to our friendly listener-owned business for the evening. That is our friends at Kineo Mountain Woodsmithing. These are high-quality, handmade, premium hardwood cutting boards, charcuterie boards, serving trays, and more, all of which are great gift options or the perfect piece to class up your kitchen or anywhere else in your home. Blake at Kineo Mountain made me a cutting board engraved with my channel logo. It looks amazing. It's been a part of our kitchen for a long time now, and it has not aged a bit. And in addition to the quality, that's the best part about Kineo Mountain's products. They are fully customizable, not just in materials, but in engravings too. So if you'd like to personalize a gift like that one, that can be arranged. Or if you have any other custom hardwood project in mind, no matter how big or how small, Kineo Mountain Woodsmithing can make that a reality for you. Just get in touch at kineowood.com. All Kineo Mountain Woodsmithing products are made in Colorado from premium domestic hardwood sources. Kineo Mountain Woodsmithing is the absolute highest quality woodworking. It will last you forever. Listeners of this show get 10% off all Kineo Mountain Woodsmithing products and services using promo code MATT10 at checkout. That's promo code MATT10 for 10% off everything from our friends at kineowood.com, KINEOWOOD.com. Find everything you need from Kineo Mountain Woodsmithing, plus other great offers from the rest of our friendly listener-owned businesses like Hero Soap Company, Western Razor Company, Elysium, and more. That's at mattchristiansenmedia.com/deals. Deals by listeners for listeners. Okay. Are you a hockey guy, Matt?
I saw the Miracle on Ice movie when I was a kid, and that's the extent of my college. No, I saw we won the game today, so I'm a patriot for hockey today.
Exactly. Like I don't know hockey. I don't care about hockey, but I do enjoy Canada losing at their own game.
Yeah.
So the U.S. defeated Canada in the gold medal game in overtime, 2-1 earlier today at the Olympics. The Olympics are now concluded. And my sources say this is only the third time we've won gold in hockey. I didn't realize it was that uncommon. I guess Canada probably wins most of the time. But this event was notable for two reasons, beyond the Olympic glory, of course. Number one, Jack Hughes, the American player who scored the winning goal, he's actually proud of his country. Listen to this.
You just describe the emotions of this moment right now.
This is all about our country right now. I love the USA. I love my teammates.
Missing his teeth,
it's
too.
Unbelievable. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong. And we have so much support from ex-players. I'm so proud to be American today. That's American hockey right there. That's a great Canadian team, but we're USA. We're so proud to be Americans. Tonight was all for the country.
Well, that is refreshing and appreciated. And I don't know if you saw what the White House X account posted.
Oh,
it's
a great, awesome.
Great opportunity to dunk on Canada. And not just dunk on Canada, but dunk on former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who tweeted just a few days ago, "You can't take our country and you can't take our game." Well, we haven't taken their country yet, but we definitely took their game. And we took their meme game. We owned them in that too, because the White House tweeted out this amazing picture of a bald eagle downing a Canada goose.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Well played.
The governor of Maryland shared that image too on Blue Sky, I guess not realizing his audience, and it went exactly as you'd expect.
They turned on him because they're pro-Trudeau Canada people. Oh my God. He's following the Stancil path on Blue Sky. He's gonna be punched in the mouth very soon too. As many observed on X today, if only Canada had submitted to the takeover. Trudeau saying, "You can't take our country." Well, maybe if you would have let us take it, you would have had gold today. But since you didn't, you have to settle for silver in your own game. And they're not taking the news well. It's in Ottawa, the Canadian capital. They're really struggling to process this defeat. Earlier today, the Canadian flag was seen flying at half staff over the Canadian capital. So we'll see if Canada ever recovers from this crushing defeat.
That's awesome.
You heard what happened at Mar-a-Lago last night.
Yeah, another. If you're trying to kill Donald Trump, you're just committing suicide by cop at this point. It's you're not. It's God already sent a message. Like, we're not doing this.
That's true.
Sorry.
I don't care what kind of tactical operator you are. It is not a good record for those who have made the attempt so far. But yeah, was this another attempt to kill Trump or Trump people? Now, Trump himself was not at Mar-a-Lago last night. But at about 1:30 in the morning Eastern, an armed man was shot and killed after entering Mar-a-Lago's secure perimeter. So my understanding is he didn't get in the building, but he's on the premises. And the man was carrying a shotgun and a fuel can. So it's hard to think what his intent would be in doing that other than causing some sort of harm to the people there. He was confronted by Secret Service and a Palm Beach Sheriff's Office deputy. Unclear exactly what happened in terms of the confrontation, but the shots were fired. This intruder is dead. No police injuries. Later today, the shooter was identified as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin. Now, we do know that he traveled about 700 miles from his home in North Carolina. The Moore County Sheriff in North Carolina says it has no prior history with this guy. Martin was reported missing by a family member at 1:30 Eastern last night. So about the same time that this confrontation happened at Mar-a-Lago. The family said they hadn't seen him since about 8 p.m. on Saturday. So presumably he was gone for some time before they noticed he was missing, but it sounds like he just booked it straight to Florida and attempted to invade the Mar-a-Lago property with a shotgun and a fuel can. And there's not a lot of information available beyond that. It looks like this guy went to the Thomas Crooks School of not having an identity online, because he is just as ghostly. The only online presence he has is that he did golf course illustrations, a website for Fresh Sky illustrations, and an Instagram account to promote Fresh Sky, bringing to life the hopeful feeling of being on a golf course by illustrating golf course scenes. So I guess did he just want to do a Mar-a-Lago illustration? Is that
Maybe he hates Trump's designs or something that really infuriated him. In that,
trying to get some content for the Instagram account, needed a shotgun just in case things got a little crazy. I don't know.
I mean, we'll find he had a social media presence dating back 2 decades in about a year from now.
Yeah. What was the name of the Thomas Crooks guy? The guy that talked to him on YouTube? I forget. He had this Fed handler who...
Yeah, and he was for a year, I will kill so-and-so. It's...
Yeah. Oh, well. Hey, you also like political assassinations? Join me for a discussion. Maybe he met up with that guy. Okay. Headlines tomorrow morning. Look out for them. He was just a legal observer exercising his Second Amendment rights.
The whole legal observer thing, it's just like sovereign citizen shit, but for liberals. It means nothing.
Kinda.
It means nothing at all. Anyone, if you can be an illegal observer with no legal qualifications, then what is the position?
I notice a lot of the activities that they talk about go well beyond observation, though. Alex Preddy, of course, is the reference here. Was it just observing that got him shot dead, or was it a little bit more than that? Renee Good, was she just observing, or was there a gas pedal involved? Yeah. Okay, I mentioned that it has struck again, and it has. I regret to inform you our national nightmare continues. Despite efforts to crack down, illegal immigrant, dubiously licensed Indians, primarily, are still crashing their big rigs into people with fatal effects. Last month, Batman and I, we were laughing at an illegal immigrant truck driver named Suckdeep Singh. I think it's Sookdeep, but it looks like Suckdeep Singh. He got busted in Arizona. And deported. Whoops. I meant to hit disgusting. Nothing.
That's disgusting.
Soundboard. He sucks deep. That's what I'm going for.
That's disgusting.
Soundboard discipline. I'll work on it. At least this guy didn't kill anybody, though. He ran a red light, but he didn't kill anybody. Well, we've laughed at how all of them are named Singh. Now, I gather there's a reason for that in Indian culture that I still don't understand why all the...
It's probably a caste thing, if I guess,
But he's not the only Suckdeep Singh. He's not the only Suckdeep that we have to worry about, because now there's a new Suckdeep. Another Suckdeep Singh ran a red light in his truck in Hendricks County, Indiana. He sucked even deeper. He killed a 64-year-old man, crashing his big rig into that guy's pickup truck.
Witnesses told investigators the suspect ran a red light here at this intersection and crashed into the victim. Although criminal charges have not yet been filed here in Hendricks County, U.S. Senator Jim Banks, for one, says the suspect should have never been behind the wheel or even in the country. Around noon on Wednesday, here along US 36, witnesses claim the driver of this semi-truck made a fatal mistake and slammed into the side of this white pickup.
He went through the intersection and hit the electric plus truck that was driving through.
Kate just narrowly missed being hit and quickly ran to check on the victim in the pickup.
I think there was a lot of chaos going on in the environment, and I made it my job to be calming to him.
Kate recalls trying to comfort 64-year-old Terry Schultz before he died on scene.
So I was just telling him that everything was going to be okay no matter what. He was unresponsive, but at some point, I think that he definitely took his last breath.
The driver of the semi-truck, 24-year-old Sukhdeep Singh, was handcuffed and taken into custody by Indiana State Police. Federal sources confirm the suspect is currently being detained by ICE. Singh is suspected of being in the country illegally since 2018 when he was caught and released at the border during the first Trump administration.
You suck. I hope Trump deports you.
He sucks deep. Suck deep, Singh.
If we're going to have, I mean, I know he did it illegally, but if we are going to have immigration from parts of the world like India, Bangladesh, etc., I think one of the requirements should be you adopt an anglicized name. So if your name is Suck Deep, you're just like James from now on. You know?
Well, I don't know. Maybe being named Suck Deep is a good indicator that they do suck deep, and we should watch out for them.
Good point.
The other Suck Deep, I'm told, was deported, and my sources say this is a different Suck Deep, but I have to wonder, did the prior Suck Deep just get accidentally deported to Indiana thinking it was India? Was there just a mistake in where he was headed? This Suck Deep, as you heard in the reporting there, he was caught previously in 2018 under the first Trump administration, but he was released because he was a minor at the time. Is that, I don't know if that's common practice in immigration enforcement. If we find minors who are illegals, do we just say like, get out of here, you little scamp? Or what do we do?
Apparently, I didn't know that was a thing we did. I assume the rules applied regardless, but
Not clarified in the reporting if he was driving a truck at the time, though I don't think he was, because he got his CDL, his commercial driver's license, in May of last year, 2025. But what's notable about this case, in almost all the other suck deep cases or sing cases, they are licensed in California, and California has been under a lot of federal pressure to tighten up their licensing standards because there's so many suck deeps coming out of there and killing people. This guy was licensed in Indiana, not California. And you would think Indiana, as a reliably red state, would be a little stricter on this sort of thing. How is Indiana issuing a commercial driver's license to a known illegal immigrant named Suck Deep? How did that happen?
And I'm confused because the license, it looks like a real ID as well.
It's got the little, isn't that what the star signifies?
Yeah. So I don't get how that's possible either, but I thought you had to be a citizen with like a passport and all that to get one.
Questions to ask for the state of Indiana and probably the feds too, like you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a big push where I live for everyone to get them, but I don't know. I have a passport, so I don't see the point.
Oh, I regret to admit that I caved to the real ID bullshit years ago. So
I just renew by mail, and I don't. The DMV is the seventh layer of hell, so I just try to avoid ever. I have the same license photo for the best 8 years at this point.
Well, here in rural America, we still have English speakers at our DMV, so it is a delay. It is a waste of time, but at least you can understand the person when you finally get to that counter. So
that is good.
Yeah. I've not seen any updates on criminal charges for Suck Deep in this case. I assume those are still coming. But before we get into some other stories, also a lot of updates in the Rhode Island transgender shooter. Of course, that happening on Monday when Robert Dorgan, otherwise known as Roberta Esposito, the two-named man, that was the euphemism this time, Matt, is he's the shooter has two names. He's not transgender. He just goes by two names. So the two-named Robert Dorgan, the story has been developing all week. Last we talked about it on Wednesday. I don't think any of these details were yet available, or they were just coming out. It's not just that Robert Dorgan was apparently a transgender Nazi. We did get into that with his proud SS tattoo on his arm. But we now know that his son from a prior relationship, so not a son with his ex-wife that he murdered on Monday, but a son from a prior relationship, actually is in prison for burning down a black church.
Holy hell.
Apple doesn't fall far from the SS tattooed dad tree, I guess. His son is Kevin Colantonio. I'm probably pronouncing his name incorrectly, but Kevin was sentenced last year to more than 6 years in prison after he used gasoline to set multiple fires to the exterior of a black church. When police searched Kevin's home, they found writings that said in part, "Gun everyone down that isn't white.
Jeez.
If one is white, spread the gospel. Always give our bloodline a chance." Wow. Okay.
A whole new ideology is dropping.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between being ruled by transgender Nazis or cisgender communists, which one would you pick?
I thought you were going to say transgender or Nazi, and I was going to pick Nazi.
No, you got to pick this guy and his family versus the Soviet Union. Those are our two options. What do we pick?
Oh, boy.
So you have to think about it, is the thing.
Okay, so these transgender Nazis care about racial purity, but they're gender delusional?
So I think that's the trade-off. We respect their pronouns, but there's no multicultural stuff, which I guess is tolerable. But then again, they shoot people, so I don't like that.
Are they connected to... I mean, this is a ridiculous hypothetical, but are they well connected to every other piece of truth?
Are they only delusional on the trans issue?
Yes,
you mean?
yeah.
Or is
Like
this general? Well, they're all mentally ill overall, so probably not. No.
Okay, but would you rather be ruled by the mentally ill or communists? I mean, what?
I guess
flip
they're kind
a
of the
coin,
same
dude.
at that point. Yeah.
Flip a coin. I'm not taking that.
It's an impossible question.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to entertain that one. If people have submissions, that you're
Just
welcome.
trying to generate some dialogue here.
Yeah, you can toss those. You could put those in the chat. You could. Hey, that sounds like great Wednesday content. If you have thoughts for that,
sure.
Put it in my email question inbox on the website mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact. Whether you prefer fascist transgender people running your country or communistic cisgender
people,
normal people,
otherwise normal.
Yeah. Okay, so Kevin also admitted while behind bars that he intentionally selected the church as the object of the arson because of the actual or perceived race, color, religion, national origin, or ethnicity of the congregants, according to court records. Now, see, speaking of Nazi trannies, I mean, Kevin isn't a tranny, but he's like as close to that reality other than his dad as you could get, because his dad is I guess his dad was the Nazi tranny. He's got the tattoo, but Kevin is a close approximation of the things that you're talking about, I guess. We also learned, did you hear this part of the story? So Robert Dorgan murdered his son, Aiden, and the mother of that son, his ex-wife, Rhonda. And notably in the reporting, they both shared the last name Dorgan. And I guess I didn't think much of that. Like maybe for convenience reasons, Rhonda kept the name. No, they shared the name Dorgan because they were first cousins. As in first cousins once removed. So I'm not clear on the exact relationship, but Robert and Rhonda, first cousin once removed would be either the child of your first cousin or the parent of your first cousin. And I guess that's legal in Rhode Island. First cousin marriage straight up is legal in Rhode Island.
Which
So
I guess
something-
makes it progressive by definition.
Something very odd was going on with the marriage arrangement. And
that's almost as weird as the trans-Nazi part.
This guy had a very bizarre life. Yeah. So I don't know. And then what's the deal? I was wondering on Wednesday too, because Rhonda's dad had been arrested for trying to send Asian street gangs out to murder Robert, according to Robert. So there's some connection to Asian organized crime too, but we never figured that one out.
So he contracts like the most peaceful demographic in America to carry out a murder.
Yeah. Well,
He'll
I don't
be
know.
missed.
The Asian mafia, though, or whatever they're called, like the Chinese mafia people, those people are
triads
hardcore.
or whatever.
Yeah, they're crazy. Also, Robert Dorgan, the tranny shooter, was reportedly excluded from his mom's funeral, according to independent journalist John DePetro, who says he spoke with a family member. Dorgan's mom recently died, I think earlier this month, February 6th, it says in this report. Nobody told him, and that was because his mom's wishes were that he be kept away. So bigotry caused the shooting, confirmed. He went berserk because his mom died and did not want him to be a part of that death or funeral.
Damn.
All right. This was a great exchange. Now, are you team as far as the hottest woman in Congress with the very fair polls on Reddit that are not at all manipulated by Nancy Mace, are you team Nancy Mace or team Lauren Boebert? I'll give you the more challenging question. Which one is the hottest member of Congress?
If those are the only two options, we don't really have any attractive people in Congress.
Depends on your opinion of AOC. Some are appreciators.
She's gone downhill very quickly. Okay, so Boebert or Mace?
Those were the leaders in the polling that I saw.
You know who I think is the obvious choice? My wife.
Well, there you go. A correct answer. You're well trained, I guess. So Boebert was on Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday night. And of course, she is Nancy Mace's biggest rival in that hottest woman in Congress
Hate to
contest.
see your friends fighting.
But Bill mentioned how he apologized to QAnon recently for not listening to them about Epstein, and he says, okay, they were kind of right on the Epstein stuff and the trafficking and the and all the child sex crimes or sex crimes against minors, but QAnon, they still have crazy beliefs otherwise, Bill says. And Boebert defended QAnon a little bit, saying, well, for now you think they're crazy. He says, oh, come on. They think Democrats eat babies. Do you think Democrats eat babies? And Lauren Boebert could not deny the possibility. Yeah.
Well, I apologized to QAnon a couple of weeks ago. I said, when it comes to this Epstein stuff, you had it righter than me. Now, they also believe a lot of real batshit nonsense. But when
For now, you think it's batshit,
They don't eat babies. Democrats don't eat babies. You think they eat babies?
There is a lot of consumption talk in the stuff. Now, if there are other babies, I don't know. No, you can laugh all you want. But, I mean, there is some sick stuff in here that is implying...
But that's not eating babies. Come on.
I'm not saying they're eating babies. I'm saying there is talk of consumption, and it ain't pizza. And I'm not saying that I am QAnon by any means, but this is deep, dark, satanic, awful, sacrificial, and this stuff is gross.
Here I am, sacrificing myself, saying, you know what, I was wrong, QAnon, and then you don't meet me halfway. You insist they might be eating babies. QAnon said there's this vast elites around the world conspiracy to, traffic kids and pedophiles, and they were more right than I thought they were, okay? And it wasn't just Prince Andrew in the parlor with the dildo, okay?
Now, I'm not saying that I have evidence that Democrats eat babies, but I am saying I would not be extremely shocked to learn that at least some Democrats have or continue to eat babies.
I'm moderate. I think they just kill babies.
Well, exactly. That is the moderate position, is perhaps their most prized political position. Their chief political value is the so-called right to kill babies. And if you believe that the right to kill babies is paramount, isn't it just resourceful to put the resource to good use? You don't even have to. You don't have to read the DNC emails and all the Pizzagate. Just follow the premises. And hey, for whatever faults she has, this to me has earned Lauren Boebert a few votes in the Reddit hottest woman in Congress poll. I will be going over to add a few clicks to her tally just because of this.
Yeah. Have you been reading any of Michael Tracy's reporting on the Epstein stuff? He's kind of come out as like the counter narrative voice, and I don't know. There's 3 million pages, so there's obviously a lot to digest. I do think that some of the information is being read through a hysterical lens where, they're sort of trying to analyze every little thing as a code word for some greater thing. So listen, there's a lot of reference to pizza where the guy's just talking about pizza. The parts where they're talking about women and trafficking women, they generally speak about it in plain English. Like, there's not really an attempt to hide it. So when that's the case, I don't really think you need to read into the other stuff when they're kind of fine speaking about it in plain terms, if you know what I mean.
That sounds like some Nancy Mace voting bullshit to me. So
okay. Yeah, whatever. He was my point is he's like a bad man, but I feel like there a lot of the Epstein stuff is being like exaggerated just for Twitter clicks. Despite that,
I'm sure there is some truth to that. That the race for some people to become the biggest Epstein story breaker of all time. There's an incentive to do that. Yeah. That doesn't mean, like you say, that there's nothing there, or that further investigation is unwarranted or something. But yeah, I think
obviously, listen, he either killed himself because he knew he was going to jail forever, or he was killed by someone else because he was going to reveal something. So he obviously did something extreme. He did obviously horrible, extreme things. But is he a shape-shifting reptilian pedophile? Probably not. That's my take.
He maintains a constant form, and he is human in his makeup, but he
exactly.
All right,
I'm a centrist on the issue.
Thank you for being a voice of reason in this. All right.
The problem with Michael Tracy, though, is it's unfortunate, but he looks like the kind of guy who would defend a pedophile, which is not good for his credibility. Jeez. But I've been reading his back and forth with people. But anyway, next story.
Look, I'm trying to be reasonable. I just think I can call people pedophiles based on appearance alone. That's all.
All right, if you guys watching this, Google the guy. Hate to admit it, but it kind of looks.
All right, he needs a glow up to avoid appearing like a pedophile. Noted.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Supreme Court decision Friday, striking down most of Trump's tariffs. About 70%, according to the analysis I've seen, struck down. as in these tariffs were not legally authorized under the law that Trump was citing for the authority. The decision was 6-3, majority opinion by Roberts, joined by Barrett, Gorsuch, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Brown-Jackson, which is hilarious that those three finally found some executive authority that they don't like, and the way they crafted their opinion to try to make it sound like they're operating on principle is hilarious, but it's a little beside the point, so I won't get into that too much. But Barrett and Gorsuch wrote concurring opinions to emphasize some secondary points. Kagan and Brown-Jackson wrote concurring opinions, again, to agree with the conclusion, but for different reasons than Roberts argued, because they actually love legislatively unauthorized executive power. They just don't like this particular exercise of it. And then Thomas and Kavanaugh wrote dissenting opinions. And what this means as a practical matter is that the Trump tariffs that were in place under what's called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, IEEPA, those are now void. Those include tariffs announced last February on Canada, Mexico, and China related to stopping the flow of fentanyl. And Trump also cited IEEPA as the legal authority in some of those reciprocal tariffs that were announced on Liberation Day in April. So the decision, I'm going to go through some of the reasoning a little bit here. Have you read any of this decision, Matt?
Well, I just saw that immediately afterwards, Trump announced higher tariffs. So I thought, all right, I guess it doesn't count.
Kind of. They're going to be limited, but yeah, for the short term, who knows what. That's why the markets didn't really react much. Is like for tomorrow, there's not a lot of change, though there could be change in half a year or so.
I mean, listen, when some of Trump's own justices rule against him, I'm inclined to believe that unfortunately there are probably, Trump maybe is wrong in some technicality, but either way, I don't really care. I'm in favor of the tariffs. So.
Speaking of bad opinions that have been offered tonight, I'm going to offer one. John Roberts is correct and wrote a well-structured opinion in this case. I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's true, I think. Anyway, I'm going to go through the reasoning here. IEEPA is a 1977 law that authorizes the president to regulate international commerce after declaring a national emergency in response to any unusual or extraordinary threat. And the reason the legal challenge and now this court decision has happened with Trump's tariffs is that IEEPA does not actually use the word tariffs. Let me find the statute here. This is the old 1970s era statute. There it is. It's not actually very long. You can scroll through it. It's 5 pages. Nowhere in here do you see the words tariff or duty or tax. Anything that would be a synonym for tariff. Those words do not appear in this law. What does appear is 2 words split apart, the words regulate and importation. So the question is, does that mean tariff? Do the words regulate and importation in this law mean tax or tariff? That's the heart of the case. And Roberts, writing for the majority here, cites the powers that are in fact cited in the law. So the powers that Congress has authorized the president to exercise include investigating, regulating, directing, and compelling, nullifying, voiding, preventing, or prohibiting importation, as in you can straight up ban imports from a country if you declare the proper emergency. However, the word tariff or tax is not there. Now, Kavanaugh later in his dissent will say, yeah, but if you can ban an import, it logically follows that you can tax an import because that's to a lesser degree. Robert's perspective is, no, these are different things. The power to ban something is different than the power to tax. And the reason they're different is because Congress under Article 1, Section 8 has that power to levy taxes. The president does not. And so Roberts goes through that constitutional power. And Roberts cites the major questions doctrine as well, which, of course, this court has ruled on several times so far in recent years. The idea here is that that major questions of policy, as in tariffs, policy that has massive impact on the lives of Americans, on the American economy, major questions like that must be left to Congress where there is ambiguity, where there is doubt. Now, there's some debate in this decision in this court case as to whether Congress even can delegate tariff authority. The justices go back and forth about that. Really, this is a question of, since there's ambiguity if they did delegate tariff authority here, what should the proper response to that ambiguity be? And since it's not clear that Congress intended to delegate tariff authority per Article 1, Section 8, and Congress's power of the purse and the power to levy taxes, Congress should hold that power to clarify. They didn't delegate an unlimited presidential power to levy taxes to tariff. And so for that reason, this decision's a very long one, but generally for that reason, Roberts and the majority voted to strike down Trump's tariffs as enacted. There's also the fact that as a practical matter, no president has ever used IEPA in the way that Trump is using it. Kavanaugh has a mention of something that's pretty similar from Nixon, but it's not actually the same statute. It's a little bit different. But let's get into those dissents a little bit. So we'll start with Thomas. Now, Thomas actually joined Kavanaugh's dissent in full, but Thomas wrote separately to go over, he went over a lot of history of Congress delegating the power to tariff. And there are several examples he gives of this. Now, he says even since the country's founding in the 1790s, Congress has consistently delegated the presidential power or delegated to the president power over foreign commerce, including the power to impose duties and imports. And he gives several examples of this happening, which I assume are historically correct. I didn't have time to vet them all, but I assume they're probably right. The question for Thomas's opinion, in my mind, is, okay, that's fine. I'll grant your premise that in 1790, Congress did grant the president some sort of tariff power through a statute at the time. The question in this case, though, is did Congress grant the president the power to tariff under this statute at this time? And just because it has been done historically doesn't mean it was done this time. Kavanaugh, who wrote a very lengthy dissent, says the law doesn't have to use the word tariff or levy or tax to impose one. And again, this historical comparison that he discusses is the case of Nixon, who imposed tariffs under a prior law before IEPA that also did not use those terms, tariff, tax, duty. And Kavanaugh says, well, what's the big deal? That law didn't contain those words. Nixon did it anyway. And actually, Nixon's action was upheld in court. Now, Kavanaugh also goes through a whole bunch of other laws that could authorize Trump's tariffs. We'll get to those in a moment. But he says because there are several possible statutory justifications for this move, quote, the court today concludes the president checked the wrong statutory box by relying on IEPA rather than another statute to impose the tariffs. My problem with Kavanaugh's reasoning, Nixon's action, it's correct that Nixon did this under a similar law, but again, like Thomas, it was a different law. It was not this law. And when he says a court upheld it, as far as I gather, that's true, but it was a lower court, not the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has never considered this legal question, in part because no president has ever taken the tariff actions under this legal justification that Trump has. Now, as far as the argument, well, you're just saying the president checked the wrong box, checked the wrong statutory box. He's citing the wrong law. Maybe, maybe not, but it's the job of the justices to evaluate the arguments presented to them, not to make the arguments they want the executive to make. It's the executive's job to say, I did this action based on this statutory justification or this constitutionally delegated power. If the executive can't point to that power, the power is not legal. So I don't particularly like this argument from Kavanaugh. Well, I can think of a way that it's legal. Well, okay. But you're not the lawyer for Trump.
He's giving suggestions, though. He's like, all right, Trump, you screwed up, but here's an out. I know. I like that in a justice.
I guess. Well, I mean, it's to me, and I know it's as though I'm going to be shocked to find out there are activists on the court. This reads like that sort of judicial activism to me. Like, hey, here's the outcome I want, and here's how you could do it. Well, that's up to them to make the argument that it's legally sound. Yeah. Not up to you, But
I appreciate it.
But as far as my own opinion, okay, I know it's not what Trump fans want to hear. Like I said, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think John Roberts got it right. Now, is that me endorsing Jackson, Kagan, Sotomayor? No, they just like that it possibly damages Trump. That's all they're here for. But I think that this decision is completely consistent with other good decisions from this court. If the idea being this, if there's ambiguity in a statute, and there is in this statute to the extent it doesn't use the words necessary, doesn't explicitly delegate that tariff power, to whom do we defer? Is it correct to defer the constitutional authority to who holds that power under the constitutional terms for taxes, for tariffs by extension? That's Congress. If the result is something contrary to what Congress wants, that is to say, if Congress is looking at this and saying, well, wait, we want to tariff China and Canada and Mexico and all these other countries. Great. Congress can change that tomorrow. If they want to get on that, they can do that. But in all other contexts, conservatives, libertarians, people on our quote unquote team, we celebrate the idea of this court saying that on major questions of policy, those should be deferred to Congress. We do not want to concentrate executive authority. As the holder of constitutional power on all matters of taxation and other financial matters, to me, the same logic applies in this case. Unless you can point to me where that power that is constitutionally held by Congress is instead delegated to the executive, it is not delegated to the executive. So have I I'm gonna go vote for John Roberts as hottest member on the Supreme Court is what I'm saying. Okay, his competition's not very tough.
No, I don't think Kagan is going to give him a run for his money or anything.
But based on, I know that that's me going through what was a 170-page decision, but based on that summary of it, would you feel like you agree, disagree? Opinions on this among conservatives and libertarians vary quite widely right now.
I mean, I agree that, under that specific statute, it couldn't be justified, but I did appreciate Kavanaugh saying, by the way, here's how I would go about it if I was you. So
he's not totally wrong either.
Good team effort there.
We'll get to what Kavanaugh or Kavanaugh's statutes that he cited momentarily here, but I want to get back into, or I want to go through Trump's reaction first, because one thing that this case debunks, how often do we hear it? Well, the Supreme Court, they're just rubber stamps for Trump. Oh, he put him there. They let him do whatever he wants to do. Notable in this case that, with the exception of Kavanaugh, Trump's personal nominees voted against him. So there goes that narrative, and we're just gonna. I'm sure that'll reappear the next time the court decides against whatever the prevailing liberal agenda item is at the time. But Trump came out and had a press conference on Friday, and he actually personally ripped Gorsuch and Barrett. He said that they're embarrassments to their families.
Yeah, I saw it was great.
And Barrett, are you surprised in particular by their decision today? And do you regret nominating them?
I don't want to say whether or not I regret. I think their decision was terrible. Yeah. I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth? The two of them.
Wow. They're the real victims in all of this.
I have not heard any word from the Gorsuches or the Barretts, whether they are exiling them from the family. But okay. Also in this press conference, Trump said that the justices deciding against him, he believes, are under foreign influence.
It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think.
Now that is quite an allegation, actually. And frankly, I think it's an unfair one. Is it inconceivable that there's foreign influence in any part of our government? No, I don't think that's an insane thing to think, any more than thinking the Democrats eat babies, for example. But it's quite a claim to make without offering a piece of evidence for it. And maybe there is evidence for it. I'd just like to see it. My problem with that accusation is not only is it free from evidence, but it's also, I think, somewhat logically inconsistent. That is to say, for Gorsuch and Barrett to stand by the major questions doctrine and say, well, unless the president has explicitly authorized power to do this from Congress, we're not going to defer power to the president. That's what they've been doing for years on the bench now. So it's not out of character. The only thing that's supposedly out of character is the fact that they win against Donald Trump in this case, but he violated, according to the court's reasoning, which I believe to be correct, Donald Trump violated the law in a very similar way that his predecessor did in a whole bunch of contexts. Joe Biden seizing power to try to relieve student debt and all of that nonsense, trying to weaponize federal agencies beyond their legal constraints to try to get you fired for not taking the vaccine and all this stuff. So striking down those things previously, to me, is very similar ideologically, as a matter of constitutional interpretation, as this tariff case is.
Yeah. I mean, I do wish they were all yes men, but, I guess this is the next best thing.
Maybe someday you'll get the court that the left wing portrays them as, and you'll be satisfied.
That'll be my pitch to Trump to nominate me. I'm like, whatever you need, buddy. Just let me know.
Yeah, I want to hear that nomination speech about how he has such a highly regarded writing career, and he's going to...
There'll be so many clips from this show in that hearing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I look forward to that one.
That'll never happen.
There's also a big so the practical questions. One, what's going to happen with tariffs? We'll get into that in a moment. There's also the practical question of what's going to happen to the people who paid all this money, or the businesses who paid all this money. Go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
it's the thing is, I mean, one of the things that Trump did that was politically masterful is he rebranded a tax increase as something that foreign countries or companies were paying. Mm-hmm. And ultimately it was the consumers who paid them all. I mean, the only exception to that would be if the companies ate part of the tariff themselves from their profit margins. But the people who would have to get that money would be individuals, not companies. And what would the process be? It would be insanely complicated to do. I don't know how you do that. Would you just have people submitting receipts to the government? And if so, Somalians would somehow rip us all off even more.
New scamming opportunities just dropped. Someone called the Leering Center. You're right. But so that is the question. You're exactly right that the logistics of this now appear to be very messy, even though as far as the receipts, supposedly the Treasury, they're like Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber. Those are IOUs, sir. Those are as good as money. Go ahead. Every dollar's accounted for. That's what they're doing at the Treasury right now. They have a receipt for every tariff buck.
Oh yeah, totally.
Supposedly, it's the federal government.
I find it hard to believe if I bought something on Walmart that was 20% more expensive because of a tariff that they would just know, like, oh yeah, on this date, Matt got that.
Well, no, but that you're highlighting another problem there, and that is to say, even if they could account for what Walmart paid, Walmart presumably passed
it on,
some or all of that cost off to you, and there's no way that you're getting a refund for that. Walmart maybe, but not you.
That's the thing. Like you can't. I mean, the Trump tariff. I mean, companies did eat more of the tariffs than people thought, so they did bear more of the cost that people were expecting. But yeah, that's the thing. Is like if you were going to give a refund, logistically, you could only really figure out how to give it to them. Not hundreds of millions of people, and then it's just a corporate bailout at that point.
And that's what they're talking about now. And this is where I'm confused, because again, I'm supposed to believe the Treasury has like to the dollar accurate accounting of what all this is. And already I see two different numbers. I see 134 billion elsewhere quoted in here, or a different story. I saw 200 billion. So who knows? It could be X or X times 2, but there's a number in there somewhere.
And then,
we'll figure it out.
There are also supply chain issues where if you're making something and part of the component parts are tariffs, you're then passing that on to your end good, even though your end good is not itself tariffed. Well, do you then get reimbursed? Like, how would that work? I don't know. It just seems like a pain in the ass.
As far as resolution for the businesses when an imported product that is tariffed arrives, the payer of the tariff is that importing business. That's how this works. And then as far as like you're saying, whether they want to pass the cost off or try to eat that cost, that varies by importer, by business. But the Supreme Court decision gives no direction on if refunds must be given, how they must be given. Maybe there will be some sort of future court order, but right now there isn't. Asked about the refunds on Friday, or the prospect of refunds, Trump said, quote, "I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years or the next 5 years." Now, if he means litigated as in you now have a cause for action against the federal government, that's still a burden on the business that paid the tariffs to bring a lawsuit to try to recover the money. But it's not clear that that's the intent either, because as I mentioned, Scott Bessent is telling the media, the Treasury Secretary is saying that the Treasury has the cash on hand to refund importers, but that process could play out over a year. So that implies like they're going to go through the receipts themselves and I guess auto send you a refund and you don't have to sue them. But I don't know. We just don't know.
The thing is, like, the average voter is kind of dumb enough to mistake that refund as like free government money and might see it as like a pro-Trump thing. So that could be good. You know,
yeah, maybe
not realizing it's just throwing money back, but
always looking at the bright side. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned Trump has already announced new tariffs, and he has, and at least for the short term, tariffs are not going away, at least totally. Yesterday, Trump announced he's increasing global tariffs from 10 to 15% effective immediately. He did this through a Truth Social post. And he didn't mention the legal authority he's using in that post, but apparently the legal authority is Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, a different statute, which is designed to address trade deficits, the idea that we are buying more products from another country than they are buying from us. There is a separate statute that allows the president in the short term to try to correct those imbalances. But under this law, presidentially issued tariffs can only be in place for the short term, 150 days. There's also Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974 and Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, which also allows the president to impose tariffs, but only after a fact-finding exercise by the U.S. Trade Representative and the Commerce Department. Now, Trump had relied on these laws during his first term. These laws, again, they're limited. They would not allow, for example, the 50% tariff that Trump had on Brazil because the U.S. has a trade surplus with Brazil. So countries we have a trade surplus with, you're not going to be able to use this trade deficit law to try to impose at least a half-year tariff structure on them. Bottom line, yes, without Congress, tariffs can and will continue to some extent, but they're limited now in who can be tariffed and for what reason and for how long. So the changes here, the only way there's going to be immediate change is if the decision makers in the White House are like, you know what, this is just too legally messy now. We're done with tariffs, and they quit. But that would require Trump changing his mind. Yeah. And so we might not see short-term change at all. You might be dealing with effectively very similar tariffs for the near future here. Did you see John Barron calling into C-SPAN this morning?
There were people that thought it was actually Trump and not a comedian doing a parody. It sounded like an impression, yeah. But it's a pretty good one. Well, and the thing is, Trump. It is actually true that Trump used to impersonate his publicist and call people and and there's videos of it, and he uses words that only Trump would use, and it's hilarious. Like, it is something he does. But this is not actually him, but it's funny.
Yeah, John Barron was the alias, and this caller is calling into C-SPAN saying he's John Barron, and John Barron, Trump as John Barron, used to feed stories to the media in the 80s and 90s, exactly like you're saying. So a guy...
He names his son after his fake publicist.
I think he did, yeah. Very Trumpy. So John Barron, a guy claiming to be John Barron, calls into C-SPAN discussing the tariff Supreme Court decision this morning, and here is that call.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you ever have in your life, practically. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision, and you have Hakeem Jeffries, who... he's a dope. And you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course these people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier, I assume she's a woman, she's a Democrat, but she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right,
by
John.
this.
We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Democratic caller.
They cut him off early. No respect for John Barron there. Now, you're right that if you listen closely, you could tell it's not quite right. But I would say on the scale of or in the world of Trump impressions, I would grade that one fairly high. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah. The pauses between when he was talking were a little too long. Like, you could tell he was trying to think of what to say next. Well, Trump would flow probably quicker, but it was it did fool people. A representative with Jayapal posted it thinking it was actually Trump, and then, she's retarded, but it did fool some people.
Hey, she's not retarded. She has a California commercial driver's license, okay? She's... Just watch out for her at the stoplight. Okay, she might kill your whole family.
Shit.
Anyway, C-SPAN confirmed that the caller was not Donald Trump or the real John Barron. They posted that this morning. How do they know? Because the call came from a Central Virginia phone number, and Trump was at a White House meeting with governors at the time. Okay. Anything else you have to say about tariffs or the Supreme Court? Do you want to smear the Barrett or Gorsuch family at all?
Well, I think the families are disappointed, so I don't want to add on to whatever they're feeling.
Okay. I guess you're right. Trump was implicitly praising their families. I shouldn't mischaracterize.
He felt bad for the families.
Amy and Neil are unworthy of the glorious Barrett and Gorsuch names. Yeah.
Brutal.
All right. Are we going to war with Iran, or is it just time for another military strike on Iran? Well, the American military has been building up in the region, the Middle East, over the last month or so. According to this report in NPR over the weekend, the size of the naval and air presence that the U.S. has in the region suggests that the U.S. military would be capable of a sustained bombing campaign if they decide they want to do that, or if the commander-in-chief decides he wants to do that. And all of this, while the Trump administration has been trying to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. On Tuesday, Iranian negotiators said that the two sides agreed, the two sides being the U.S. and Iran, they agreed on a set of principles to frame a possible agreement. So that sounds very convincing. But the two sides sound very far apart. Sources say that Iran is making few concessions. Now, Trump wants Iran to give up its nuclear program, which they claim is for energy. He also wants them to scale back its missile program, or Iran's missile program, and to stop supporting militias in the region, like those Houthis who keep firing missiles at everybody in the Strait of Hormuz or wherever it is they're doing it. Those meddling Houthis, got to stop them. But historically, Iran has refused to negotiate anything outside of their nuclear program. They don't want to talk about missiles. They don't want to talk about their Houthi funding. It's just the nuclear program that they're willing to talk about. Now, some are speculating that Trump may hit Iran with a limited strike and then see if Iran wants to concede more at the negotiating table. Trump says he expects to make a decision on any potential military action against Iran in the next 10 to 14 days. However, Trump has also expressed interest in regime change in Iran. So maybe we just get him out of there, Saddam style.
No, that went well last time.
Well, we did it with Maduro, so we're on a good run right now.
That is true.
But
I mean, with Maduro, though, we're keeping all of the other people in power, so it's not like a total breakdown, it seems. So, I don't know. It's like a toned-down regime change.
Well, yeah.
It's like a regime change where we just changed one guy.
Yeah, and then they have that puppet woman who I guess does whatever they tell her to do.
Yeah. So,
but
I don't know how that would work in Iran.
Well, wait. So, okay. I guess that's my question. I just answered it. I just figured it out, or that's my answer to your question. You asked, do I want tranny Nazis or cisgendered commies? I want that cisgendered commie in Venezuela to run my company or my country because she's just a puppet of like somebody else more sensible. Does that count?
I mean, in my analogy, everyone has to be genuine.
Okay, so she can't be a puppet for another force.
You can't be like controlled opposition. You have to be a legit National Socialist.
Okay, then I need to keep considering.
Yeah. So,
okay. Trump has expressed interest in regime change. He might talk about this at the State of the Union coming up on Tuesday night.
That'll be fun.
If we were to go to some sort of full-scale regime change war effort in Iran, presumably there would be some kind of speech about that. When we think about when we've done that in the past, I guess in Venezuela, Trump didn't give that sort of rallying speech before that happened. It was a total surprise attack. But you think back to Iraq or Afghanistan or some of the other regime change operations we've had. Usually there's kind of like a presidential rallying speech before that happens. We haven't heard anything like that from Trump. And if you could handle your opposition in the way Venezuela was handled, again, qualified with my general opposition to regime change. But if you're going to do it, if you could handle everyone the way you handled Venezuela, that would be ideal. It's just, is such a thing like that actually possible in Iran. If you're thinking about how to achieve this tactically, I don't know that you could just copy paste Venezuela over to Iran. But we're all kind of waiting.
I don't know. Like, Israel is really good at killing foreign people in like Looney Tunes style ways. Like when they killed all the Iranian leadership by just faking a meeting and then striking them. Like, why don't we just have them do it and just, you know, wait, it's all there. It's all there.
Who is the Mossad agent? Roadrunner or Wile E. Coyote?
I'm not getting the reference.
To the
I'm sorry, I'm retarded.
Who is the Israeli op?
Brain. Who is the Israeli op? That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah.
I guess Roadrunner was more successful. I mean, Wile E. Coyote was incompetent, so I assume it must be Roadrunner, given his rate of success.
Yeah. But that was the dumbest thing I've ever said on your show. Anyway, go on.
We'll set a new record each and every week. You and I both. Don't worry about it. That's all I have on Iran. Which, I mean, it's just we're waiting to see what happens here. I don't want to get too apocalyptic or too doomer about this. In general, you know, I'm not a fan of getting more and more involved in foreign affairs and intervening in that part of the region. But I also I don't want, you know, I have been critical of a lot of foreign policy moves that Trump has made for those reasons, and my worst fears mostly have not been realized. So I also have to acknowledge that. And until Trump is out there giving the speech like, on my orders, we are taking out the Iranian leadership, you know, I'll have to wait and evaluate the move when that actually happens.
53rd state coming.
Are we gonna bring Iran in before Canada?
I mean, at this rate, probably. And
wait, 53rd. Who are the other two?
Greenland, Canada.
Oh, okay. So you're counting. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're going to be ushered in.
Right. Okay. Well, let's take care of Iran. 51st for Iran, and then we'll worry about Greenland and Canada. I actually saw Matt Walsh tweeting, because we're going to talk about Canada later on with this assisted suicide case. But I saw Matt Walsh tweeting about Canada's loss in the hockey game, and I think he called them the most evil country on earth.
What?
Which I was texting a friend about, and I was like, well, I mean, they're pretty evil. Are they the most evil on earth? And my friend was like, no, dude, he's totally right. Consider X, Y, and Z. Maybe they are. Does Iran belong in our country more than Canada does? It's a fair question. I think you have to consider it. No? Okay.
It's tough because like I want the territory for the resources, but I don't want the people with all these cases. So it's all in theory.
All right. I forgot we have to, we're past the hour. We got to take a super chat break. So let's get into super chat. But before we do, hey, have you considered joining the MC Club? Well, yes. You should. Here's why. Hey, if you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the show by becoming a member of the MC Club. For as little as $1 a month, you will enjoy a series of exclusive perks, including ad-free videos and podcasts, video calls, and a community Discord server with me and other listeners, loot box giveaways with channel merchandise, your name in the credit roll after videos and streams, and much more. But most importantly, you will help keep the Duct Tape production alive and independent from all those sinister forces of control. Join the MC Club at mattchristiansenmedia.com/support. Linked in the description. Okay. Into Super Chats on YouTube and Tippy Stream here. Joshy Boy, our friend Joshy, says, always glad to see the myth, the legend, the highly regarded Matt P. Also, great Lent starts tomorrow for me and my Orthodox kinsman. He adds Epstein hates PDF files, and Pokimane wishes Twitch was about gaming again. You simply cannot make this shit up. Wait, what's the Pokimane thing? Or Pokemon?
I don't know. I think she was a streamer who just hit the wall, but that's all I know about this. Yeah.
Is Twitch not about gaming anymore? I never go on Twitch.
I think, isn't Hassan Piker like their top? I don't know. Like, I thought all the famous left-wing Twitch people just talk about politics. It's not even. Is that
all Twitch is anymore? Is just a left-wing political?
Like, it was like Hezbollah propaganda for a while with like Hassan Piker and all these. It was, but the guy who founded Twitch is like a huge Hezbollah sympathizer and weird guy.
Twitch was just banning everybody all the time, so I never really got started there. I was like, I don't need to set up shop over there, so I never did really. Yeah. I had an account and I played video games on there way back in the day, but as far as the more current or more recent iterations of the stuff I make has never really been on Twitch. Joshy boy, Canada says we fucked a boot. No, wait. We fucked a boot and they found oot. Well, Canada fucked a boot and found oot for sure. And good luck with Lent. Are you a Lent observer, give something up for Lent kind of guy, Matt?
Yeah, I got to pick something tough this year. I feel like if it's, I don't know, when you give up like chocolate or something, you're just cheating.
What are you giving up?
Well, I got to find something that will fundamentally change my
giving up
comfort level.
Nancy Mace nudes. No?
It's never started.
Okay.
I don't know.
Injured Guardian. Oh, so thank you, Injured Guardian. But now I'm going to be confused. Matt, explain to Matt what the mob is, please. Well, which Matt is explaining to which Matt?
We'll both explain it. All right. So, Matt, the mafia is in America usually like Italian organized crime, but it can be any criminal organization. Your turn.
Is this in reference to our prior discussion of the Chinese mafia or whatever? I guess are we getting at that like mafia and mob have ethnic specific definitions? That I'm not aware of, but
they could. Maybe. I feel like mob is always the Italian, but mafia it's ethnic specific. So
this is just two Matts explaining these terms to each other. Mafia and the mob are often used interchangeably to describe organized crime, but mafia specifically refers to the Italian Sicilian criminal organization. Okay, the mob is broader, the more generic term. But isn't there a Chinese mafia? I've seen videos of these people.
Yeah, there's like the triad people.
Chinese
every
triads.
country has their own mafia. It's just like a different level of their infiltration of the population.
Yeah, maybe it's just like if you want to be super technical, the Italians own the term mafia, even though it's applied to other ethnic organized
There's
crime.
no Chinese Sopranos. We kind of own it.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, now we've learned our lesson. Thank you.
We both educated each other.
Esoterica Unbound. I'm in a social club full of geriatric Democrats. Why are you in this social club? Anyway, last Friday, a couple of them were saying how bad they felt for athletes representing the United States at this time. They were projecting their TDS onto foreigners. Oh my God.
Have you ever seen that chart of patriotism by political party by year where Republicans are always at like 90% and then Democrats, it's literally dependent on who's in office.
Yes,
if they like the country.
They flip in massive numbers, and it's like if Obama's president, Republican numbers might drop 5% tops. They're still proud to be American. They still love America. Democrat, appreciation for the country depends almost exclusively on whether their guy or who they perceive as their guy is in the White House.
Yeah. Very fake people.
Ryan Allen. Well, in their mind, a fetus isn't a baby, so they can deny by reclassification. This is what I'm saying is, okay, again, seriously speaking, I'm not accusing them of eating babies. I have no evidence to that effect. However, if you believe that an abortion is simply a medical procedure in which no independent life is at stake, what is wrong with eating the baby? Right. And I need you to tell me how would it be more wrong than say, or different from in terms of wrongness than say eating placenta, for example. What would be wrong about eating that baby other than maybe it's weird or not
it's icky, yeah.
Yeah, but what's the moral wrong with it? And I need to hear that argument. I want to hear what they say. Esoterica Unbound. Trump's wine fest after the SCOTUS decision was cringy. His tendency to lapse into acting like a spoiled child whenever he's subject to a minor setback is rather unmanly. I didn't see the whole press conference, but I listened to enough to hear some of the sound bites. And yeah, I just I would agree that's, for as much as I appreciate about Trump's personality, and there's plenty of entertainment, and it's beyond just entertainment. It's like being a little bit of a bully when you need to be a bully. I can appreciate all that stuff, but there is kind of a bitchy mentality there. Like when you take a loss, just, well, it's an obstacle for us, but we believe the decision is wrong, and we believe we have legal authority otherwise, so we're going to keep going. Just move along, man.
I don't know. I like that he had some nice words for, the how Gorsuch and Barrett's family may be feeling. So it was thoughtful,
I was texting Gorsuch's wife earlier today.
Sorry he's acting like this. You really screw up your reputation.
Injured Guardian, thank you, Esoteric Unbound, and Godspeed to you in your social club as well. Injured Guardian, IOUs are as good as money. Viva La Dirt League has entered the chat. P.S. Are you planning to watch the Yellowstone spinoff, Yellowstone Marshals? So I don't know Viva La Dirt League, but I assume there's a reference there. I'm talking about the Dumb and Dumber thing. That's probably what they're referencing. Will I watch the Yellowstone spinoff Marshals? I will watch pretty much anything Yellowstone universe until it's proven that it sucks. I've seen the trailer for this spinoff where Casey goes and becomes a U.S. Marshal. The trailer... I'm not extremely excited for Marshals, but I'm going to give it a chance because I love the Yellowstone universe. Are you a Yellowstone guy? I'm sure we talked about it before.
I've been told I would really like it, but I haven't seen it, no.
It's kind of like Breaking Bad, where you could watch the first few episodes and decide you'll know pretty quickly if it's for you.
I hate shows where people are like, yeah, it picks up in the 5th season.
Nah.
It's too much time, man.
Yellowstone follows the classic formula where the early seasons are very, very good. And then by the end, I didn't hate the end of Yellowstone, but it's hard for any top tier show to end on perfect terms,
Yeah.
Daniel Jagger, as far as foreign influence on SCOTUS, there is precedent. I sent you an email, man. I think Trump means free trade rhinos for influence. Maybe, but I would need to make the argument that they are choosing against their ideological inclinations because of foreign influence. I would need to see the evidence of the foreign influence and then an explanation for how what they decided is contrary to what we would normally expect out of them. Because I read, you might say it's uncharacteristic for Roberts, who normally loves twisting things in all sorts of nonsensical ways. But for Gorsuch and Barrett, not that they're perfect. They've had bad decisions in the past too. But I don't see how their reasoning in this case is contrary to the reasoning they would offer in any other case involving executive power that is not explicitly defined by statute from Congress. So I'm not saying impossible. I'm just saying big accusation for Trump to make and not a lot of substance behind it. That's all. But appreciate it, Daniel. And I'll definitely look in my inbox. Check it out. Okay. A couple more here. We'll get one more on YouTube. We'll catch up on Rumble. We'll get back into it. Mafia is actually an acronym in Italian that translates to "Death to France is Italy's cry." Oh. I didn't know that.
Well, now, maybe he's the Matt who is supposed to educate us.
No, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't know the Mafia was born of anti-Franco sentiment, but I'll take your word for it. Newbie of Death Review's also over on Rumble, and of course he says, if you read this,
you are gay, LMAO.
As always, guilty as charged. Compound fracture. According to TMZ and leaked text messages, the would-be Trump assassin was fixated on the Epstein files. Interesting. I didn't hear that. And he was deeply disturbed by what he believed was a government cover-up. So he went to Mar-a-Lago for that reason. Okay.
I saw that as well.
I hadn't seen that.
Thomas Massey radical.
He's a radicalized masshole, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for I hadn't seen that information, so thanks for passing that along. Yakko 1977, my guess regarding a strike in Iran is that it'll be focused on leadership decapitation. The recent uprising was brutally suppressed, 30,000 killed. So this is the protests that have been going on. And I'm guessing the administration wants to enable another. Yeah, strategically you might think, well, if the sentiment and the thirst for vengeance is there, if you can just badly injure them, the population will naturally overthrow them or install some sort of new leadership. But as with any of these countries in that region, or really any foreign country, it's like, you got to be sure that the guy that's going to be put in after them is actually better, because even though they seem pretty bad, there are somehow ways in which the guy who follows is worse.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I did think it was cool in the Iranian Revolution how the Islamists allied with the far left and then murdered the far left. So I did like that part of the revolution. But besides that, it's been a disaster.
Based
Based
Islamist revolutionaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know that. I'll take your word for it. I don't know the history of how that happened, but all right. Your friendly neighborhood Fed. Listening while driving to my late night hockey game after the day of the rake. I feel very inspired and I'm happy to be getting back onto the ice. I think we now own Canada after that win. Is that functionally a purchase agreement? We can just take ownership of them now? I mean, fair enough, I think.
It would be a better way of fighting wars to just have some competition we agree on.
Well, I've always wanted to settle international conflicts by 1v1 on Rust on Modern Warfare 2. If we could do it that way, I would tune in.
Fist fight, something cool.
We will.
I'll have to just circle back with you.
End our chats there. We'll come back to them at the end of the stream. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting the show. But speaking of Epstein, we got to get back into it.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
We are. Actually, we're talking about former Prince Andrew. Because on Thursday, former Prince Andrew, he's not Prince Andrew anymore now. He's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He lost his royal title some time ago. But this is King Charles's brother. He was arrested and later released by British authorities on allegations that he shared confidential government information with Jeffrey Epstein at the time, around 2010, when he was a British trade envoy. So he was arrested and then he was questioned at a police station and then he was released. And there's video of, I think after his release from police custody, Andrew going home
oh man
and leaning back in the seat trying not to be photographed,
which is a pic.
A hilarious image that reminded me of he looks exactly like the shocked face in the Rage comics back in the day. You remember this one?
Bingo. Yeah, so forever ago.
So
it's so funny.
He was arrested and questioned, not charged yet, at least. And he actually is the first British royal to be arrested in some 400 years, according to this reporting. So have they all been very well behaved, or they enjoy a level of protection that that Andrew has actually committed things bad enough to be stripped of? Now, so far, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, as far as the Pam Bondi era Epstein files releases, the arrest count is a goose egg, is it not? I'm not missing. It's a 0. I'm not missing.
Yeah, this is the only one. No, this is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even internationally, Andrew might be the only arrest related to the latest round of Epstein files. And many are saying, well, hey, take notes, Pam Bondi. Even the Redcoats are doing it. Even the Redcoats are seeking justice. What are we doing? Yeah. The thing is, though, and there are two ways to interpret this former Prince Andrew arrest. There's kind of a pessimistic way and maybe an optimistic way. So you tell me which one you think is correct, because pessimistically, he is not being arrested for anything related to sex crimes involving Jeffrey Epstein. And of course, he is accused of having a sexual relationship or sexual action with Virginia Giuffre, who was a minor at the time, of course, probably the most famous Epstein accuser. That's the reason he was stripped of his royal title, and they're trying to get him. He's actually stripped of the royal title, but he's still in line for the throne. He's behind all of William's kids.
Just got that at least. That's good.
So he's 8th in line to become King Epstein of Great Britain. Yeah. So I guess they're talking about removing him from the line of succession. But the investigation is nothing about sex crimes related to Virginia Giuffre or Jeffrey Epstein. It's about whether Andrew sent trade information to Epstein in 2010 when Andrew was a special envoy for international trade for Great Britain. Correspondence between.
I did not know he had that position.
I don't know a lot about Andrew history, but apparently he did. And correspondence between Andrew and Epstein was released in the latest round of Epstein files. That's presumably the reason for the questioning, and there is an investigation ongoing. Authorities have confirmed. So pessimistically, the point is, well, yeah, he got arrested, but for some bullshit reason that really has nothing to do with the heart of the Epstein allegations, which is participating in the sex trafficking of minors. Optimistically, though, maybe I don't I don't know the full case against Andrew. Maybe you can't get him on a criminal charge because the evidence isn't solid enough. However, is there something to say for the people who are implicated in the Epstein saga, as Andrew is, to find some way to get him? Like that guy did something, just go get his ass on. What's the famous example, like Al Capone on tax evasion?
Yeah.
Is this a variant of that, and is there some merit to it? Do you look at this optimistically or pessimistically?
I mean, it is probably the only provable crime so far, I guess, that they found. I mean, there is still 3 million emails that have to be gone through. So, yeah, I think there's some truth to that. And, you know, if I were to ever collaborate with Jeffrey Epstein, I just want to clarify.
If you what?
If I were to collaborate with Epstein, it would only be for insider trading and nothing else.
Oh, very principled of you. Again, a very moderate position. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But even if it is bullshit charges that have nothing to do with the core of the Epstein stuff, yeah, maybe that the directive for Pam still applies.
Come and get me, Pam Bondi.
If you can't get him on Epstein stuff, find some ways to get him. And it appears the redcoats are doing that.
Good for them.
Do the Canadians count as redcoats?
But you gotta it's just bizarre that the people who covered up the Rotterdam rape scandal are now all of a sudden like, all right, I guess we care now.
Yeah.
Which I guess they still don't if they're getting him on this. But
yeah, we'll see. Do the Canadians count as redcoats? Like those Mountie outfits? Does that qualify? I don't
literally,
know.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, they were part of the, or they still are, right? They're a Commonwealth country. They must count as redcoats because isn't the king still technically their head of state?
Yeah, they have like the parliament system that the UK has, where it's like His Majesty's government, and blah blah blah, Her Majesty. Yeah.
So they're redcoats for sure. Yeah. Back to Canada, not just their hockey loss, but this piece of news from Canada this week is it's just sad for the family, but very sad to think that our moral sense is decaying to this degree. But if you followed Canada's path to assisted suicide in recent years, you may recall that back in 2016, Canada legalized that practice for those, quote, whose death is reasonably foreseeable. So not just the terminally ill, like you have a terminal form of cancer, you're going to be dead in a month, you're in great pain, so we will relieve you of that pain and we will end your life humanely. That's usually what we think of when we think of so-called assisted suicide in its best possible context. In Canada, it is for people whose death is reasonably foreseeable, which is a very bizarre way to phrase it because literally everybody's death is guaranteed. It's not just foreseeable, it is a certainty, but I get what they mean implicitly, foreseeable in something of a shorter term. But that's not the case. Whether this guy is an exception or part of a trend, this guy's death is not easily foreseeable.
And if it's seasonal depression, it means the problem resolves itself seasonally.
Yes.
So
and this guy went doctor shopping for it too.
Yeah. Like, even if you're in favor of medically assisted death, which it's one of those things where even if you can make it work in theory, it's going to be put into practice by people who are ideological and go a dark route. When you're doing it in a country that has socialized medicine, that is incentivized to remove a burden from the state, if you're a 26-year-old and you're going to remove a liability of 50 years of future healthcare payments, they're not going to care. And listen, I think most doctors go into the profession for good reasons, but
not this
I don't
one.
know, like,
I have more to say about her. Not this one, but yes.
Okay, but I don't know. Like, I find it hard to believe most doctors actually care about their patients, and I don't mean that in an overly cynical way. I just mean like if you're doing that job for decades and you're dealing with the bottom 20% of society disproportionately, and you're seeing dozens of patients a day, they're going to become cogs in the machine. And are you really going to get like you're in a position where you're seeing death so often you can't really get emotionally attached to anyone, or you'll go insane. And those are the people who are going to be deciding this. I don't know. It's a horrible idea.
Yeah. Well, to get into the specifics of this case, so the medically assisted suicide in Canada, they call it MAID. It's medical assistance in dying, MAID. started in 2016. In 2021, Canada expanded those eligible for this assisted suicide to include those with chronic illnesses, disabilities, and certain mental health conditions. Pending review, you have to have a doctor sign off on this. You can't just show up and say, one humane suicide, please. There is a little bit of a review, but apparently not enough based on this case.
I would bet the approval rate is sky high, for whatever it is.
You mean the public approval rating of the practice?
No. If you went and said I want to die through MAID, I would assume it's one of those. It's like if you go to like transgender healthcare, what do we think the rejection rate is? Because it's all ideological, psychologists and all that.
If it didn't involve the welfare of my children and have such serious implications, every time I've met with a pediatrician, I've wanted to make the attempt. Hey, so my son, I noticed that he had a choice between two toys, a blue one and a pink one, and he chose pink. So I take that as a sign.
Him.
What are my options? What do we do around here? Yeah. What are you willing to do? I just want to have that conversation to see how far they go.
There was a former, it was Tucker Carlson's former, I think the guy who did his monologues on Fox News did an experiment where he met with a doctor, it was telehealth. He claimed to have been transgender for, I think it was only a few weeks or a few months. Was a man, made no attempt to change his look at all, claimed he was a woman, and was asking for certain surgeries, like whatever the one where they remove your balls is called, and he was deliberately mispronouncing every single surgery, and the person never corrected him and approved him to get his balls chopped off after like 2 weeks of being trans.
Dude, it is that crazy. Likewise, before my sons are born, my wife will go to the women's center at the hospital, and you go into the women's center where she is receiving female specific care related to pregnancy. And I'll go in there and it's nothing but trans pride nonsense. And it's like, how do you have trans pride at a gender specific clinic? And you might ask, why the hell do I go there? We have one shop in town for hospital births here. Okay. Like we have to, yeah, it sucks. But as if you want a hospital birth in Bozeman, that's the way it goes. But I've always been baffled to see that in the women's care setting. You mean to tell me that in the women's care setting, the clinic here that is devoted to women's care, that if I walk in, like you're saying, and I just say, I'd like a
prostate exam.
I would like a gynecological examination of my sac. Yeah. If that, please have at it. That would they treat me as a serious person? The signs imply that they would.
Yeah.
Anyway,
man.
Back to the Canada case. Anyway,
back to the news.
You know how they know you're a serious tranny? You have an SS tattoo on your shoulder. They say, right this way, ma'am.
What would this tranny, though, have done? Like, when the Nazis were going after, like, Magnus Hirschfeld, would he have joined them or defended Hirschfeld? How would that play out?
You have all the brain busters tonight, all the puzzles, all these logical knots.
Could be a mini-series.
It can't be untied.
Question.
We need a new bit, like Brain Busters with Matt Palumbo, because I can't answer these questions.
Absurd hypotheticals, yeah.
These are tough. Yeah. You're thinking, man. So in Canada, assisted suicide is called MAID, M-A-I-D, Medical Assistance in Dying. In December, a 26-year-old man named Keanu Vafayan, I don't know how to pronounce this last name. We're going to call him Keanu. But Keanu was 26. He was put to death by assisted suicide in Vancouver, in British Columbia. Keanu had various health problems. He was in a car crash when he was 17, so about 10 years ago. He was blind in one eye. He was type 1 diabetic. He also, as you mentioned, was depressed, according to his mother, in a way that affected him seasonally, in a way that flared up in the winter months. He was seasonally depressed, temporarily depressed, intermittently depressed, however you want to characterize this. Yeah, get some sun. Yeah. And he had actually been considering this for some time. Now, previously, she had successfully stopped him. She actually intervened in an appointment that he had made in 2023 or 2022. I forget the year. But she says after he had struggled previously, he actually made an appointment after becoming obsessed with the medically assisted suicide in 2022. She happened to discover the communication about him seeking an appointment. She intervened, stopped the appointment. And then that strained their relationship a little bit. Eventually, he moved back in with his parents. Things were better. Apparently not, though, because he had been in communication with a doctor in British Columbia who gave him approval. And he texted his mom in December 15th, and said, by the way, I'm doing physician-assisted suicide. It's scheduled tomorrow. And he was put down before his mom could intervene. And here's the sick part, Matt. Of note, the doctor who did this in Vancouver, she has several specialties, but two that are of note in this case. She does physician-assisted suicide. What else does she do?
Abortion?
At this? Yeah, correct.
How did I know?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Because remember in that Matt Walsh documentary, he was interviewing the one woman who was talking about like giving kids a Lupron, and her specialties were transgender care and abortion. It's all these like satanic things are all in.
Satan works overtime at this clinic for sure. But now she's saying I do reproductive care, including delivering newborns. Who the hell who goes to an abortion clinic to deliver their baby?
Yeah.
Who's doing this?
What is the conversation like for the doctor killing this person? Are you like, hey, so any second thoughts? This is kind of permanent, or is it like, all right?
There's
good
that
luck.
conversation, and there's the conversation with the woman in labor. All right, so what are we doing with this one? Is this like
deliver or kill?
Is this a pull or a poke? Come on, man! But yeah, I mean, I have no idea. To your point on getting desensitized and no longer caring about the sanctity of life, I know it's a joke that you're making, there has to be a conversation. What does that doctor say? I have no idea, but it must happen. Well, you had a good life, and I'm honored. Thank you for choosing me, like it's Delta Airlines or something.
For all your suicide needs.
Yes. Now, before you go, could you please write a positive review?
Yeah, how do you advertise your service? Like least painful death of all, whatever hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
these people are fucked. There was some big liberal on Twitter who is also disabled, was talking about like this is something she had initially supported, and then went in just because she was having health issues, and they suggested euthanizing her, and she realized, oh, this is a huge mistake.
The volume is getting crazy in Canada too. When this started 10 years ago, there were about 1,000 medically assisted suicides in Canada. In 2024, it has grown some 16 times, up to about 16,500, to the point that it's 5% of the deaths in Canada.
Hell.
1 in 20 people is now dying by medically assisted suicide. And this is an area, just to talk about my own personal philosophy on this, it's not just the practical reality that when you look at this, like when you go down this road, the sheer volume of people killed this way has to be acknowledged. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the moral question, previously I would have considered myself someone who was open to this as a policy under the theory that, well, ultimately you have ownership of your life, and this maybe is not something you should encourage people to do, but your life is your life, and you should be entitled to the right to end it on your terms, certainly if you're terminally ill, would have been my prior position on this. And for those of you who insisted that I read Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis back when I was considering Christian, or trying to make the connections to arrive at Christian faith some 5 years ago, the questions I had in my mind were not answered, but one point of clarity that I took away from that book was his discussion of the idea your life and let's say your body is a home. Mm-hmm. Who are you in that home? You live in this home. Yeah. Are you the landlord? Are you the owner of the home, and really you can do whatever you want with that property, and who's to say, who's to tell you what to do with it? And if you want to end your term in that property by ending your life, that's up to you. Or are you a tenant? Are you a renter in that home? Someone else owns that home, has a purpose for that home. It's a piece of property that you must respect pursuant to their wishes. Who owns the home that is your body and you? That's God. God does have a purpose for you. God does have a reason for your life that you have a moral obligation to pursue. And I know that's easy for me to say as a relatively healthy guy who's not in chronic pain, who doesn't have terminal illness. I understand all of that. But when we go to the full extent of that premise, like that I mentioned, you own your life. Whatever you do with it is up to you. It denies the reality that there is a God-given purpose for that life, and you have a moral obligation to see it through. And confusing that premise is what has happened in Canada and has made this sort of evil possible. This sort of evil possible, where there's a woman who runs an abortion clinic and a suicide clinic, and considers herself a good person.
Yeah, it's one of those policies where, like, I could only ever see supporting it if I was in charge of all the rules and regulations and personally could sign off at every example and see, like,
True
the
suicide clinics have never been tried. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, my point being, like, if you could only see yourself supporting a policy when you would be in charge of it, it's a policy you should never support.
Yeah, well put. We're going to have to put you down because of the COVID. I'm going to send you to this clinic in Vancouver. Yeah. Well, Matt had a good run, but he's out of here. He's never coming back. We're going to... He's not recovering from that cough there. Holy cow. Hey, remember when I told you to mute your mic?
You're fired.
Anyway, let's get... while I wait, we can get into some hoax hate here.
And now, the nobody saw it happen, but it's totally a product of Trump's America hoax hate crime of the week.
Ah, shit, it's backwards. Oh. You think they'll notice?
Hey, good job muting your mic.
You're fired.
Oh, was it that bad?
I could hear it across the room, dude. I thought you were
China.
dead.
Fuck China. That's all I gotta say.
I guess so.
Yeah. So I thought we had the noise canceling thing enough, but I guess it was a very fatal cough.
Those are some loud coughs.
That's a lot going on. Anyway, hoax
all right,
hate.
you're just in time for some hoax hate. A black sociology professor at Virginia Tech accused a group of white men in a pickup truck of targeting him with racial harassment at his home. The event was promoted as a despicable act of racist intimidation and harassment. This is Professor Onwubiko Agozino.
Star Wars character.
He is fresh out of the cantina on Tatooine. You're right. A self-described scholar activist in the sociology department, and he and his family, he says his family rather, were targeted by 8 young white male men. Well, white male men. What am I talking? White guys.
Male men.
I guess you do have to clarify these days, in the era of swastika tattoos, trannies and stuff. You gotta clarify. Anyway, he says he and his family were targeted by 8 young white men riding in 4 different trucks. They parked outside the professor's home and unleashed a torrent of racial slurs, including the N-word. Then they threw ice bricks onto his property, implying apparently that he should be deported. To demonstrate this really happening in exactly the way he described, Professor Biko released this video. Here he is upstairs at his home, looking at the terror on the street below. And yes, Matt and everybody else, listen closely. I did not edit this in. You will hear a certain chirp in the video.
Get out. Come on, man.
So that was a jump cut of 30 seconds.
Yeah, I did cut it down a little bit, but I kept the chirps in. Every time I see one of these videos, I think, no, come on, someone edited that in, right?
There are professionally recorded rap songs where it's in the background. So it's universal. It's the most incredible sociological discovery of at least the past decade.
That is the raw video as submitted by the professor himself. You can see the file. Like, listen here. I've never touched this file. This is as it exists independently on Rumble. It's a little soft, but you'll hear it. You hear the chirp? Did you hear that little beep? It's in there. I didn't do that.
It's kind of hard to not be a collectivist when this sort of behavior is this universal.
All right, fine. Tribalism it is. I'm not listening to these ceiling birds anymore. Okay. Now, you'll be shocked to learn that the story is not... that looked like such a scary scene, didn't it? These guys outside the Ceiling Bird home were, like dumping some snow out of their truck?
Yeah.
If it didn't look like a threatening scene, that's because it wasn't. Police tracked down those young men and some witnesses, and they found that a group of juveniles were attending an organized function at a home in the area. In other words, there was some kind of party. Before departure, in the middle of the day, by the way, this wasn't even at night, 2 juveniles cleared snow and ice out of their truck bed. The 2 had trouble where they were parked because there's some angle. It was a hill or something. They couldn't get the snow out of their truck bed easily, so they pulled forward into a flatter area, which happened to be right in front of the professor's house, and they pushed the snow and ice out of their truck bed there. Police found no evidence of criminal intent or racial bias. At no point did the juveniles yell obscenities, racial slurs, or direct any attention at the professor's home. They were listening to rap music. So actually, in fairness, Matt, we don't know. The chirps might have been from the rap music.
That is, according to me, yeah.
That's maybe where it came from. But to the extent there were N's dropped, the N's were in the rap music. Apparently a Drake song. I don't know the song. But that's where the N's came from. And mind you, this is this guy, this Professor Biko, he's educating our brightest young minds, the next generation of sociological experts coming from
assimilated
Virginia Tech. He looks like he's wearing a shirt that has the Rafiki's paintings from the Lion King on it.
He does look like his name is like Ukabiku Bubabu or some shit. He does have the look of his name. So
Ukabiku Bubabu. I think that's how you pronounce it. All right.
Yeah.
Definitely
it's
not.
Weird too, because our African immigrants, like the kind that would dress like that, they usually hate African Americans. So I guess he has assimilated if he's doing the whole everything is racist thing.
Yeah, he really has. He's joined the club he's got the Ceiling Bird. I think he's assimilated quite well. You're right.
He has.
Okay, another episode of terrible anti-black racism. Mardi Gras was this week, and of course that means festivities in New Orleans. But this year it's a scandal because this year there were guys on a parade float that supposedly threw a racist doll at a poor little black girl. Shayna Lee is the mother in this photo here. She's the mother of this 7-year-old girl. I don't know the 7-year-old girl's name, but Shayna says that men on this Crew of Tucks parade float threw a black Barbie doll at her and her daughter, and the Barbie doll had beads tied around its neck, Jussie Smollett style. And this was clearly an offensive racial threat against her daughter.
We were at the parade, Tux Parade. We went downtown. The floats were coming. We had just kind of caught it.
It was this, a black doll hung with a string of beads around its neck, received by Lee's daughter Saturday.
I was like, there is no way. Out of all things that somebody could have thrown off of a float, it was her innocence that was taken away because I had to expose her to, a darker side of racism and tell her why she couldn't, why she wasn't allowed to play with it.
Groups like the New Orleans Police and Justice Foundation shared a statement also saying there's a clear line between satire and inappropriate signaling, and many are calling for accountability. The Crew of Tuck said they wish the incident had been reported sooner so they could have addressed it immediately, adding that the behavior is unacceptable and contrary to their values. Tuck said, quote, "We intend to fully investigate this incident and the responsible riders will no longer be permitted to have any association with the parade."
He definitely needs to get held accountable for this.
And today, the mayor and city council invited that family to Gallier Hall. Take a look at these photos from the city's Instagram page of Shayna and her family. She texted me this afternoon saying that she did get a call from Mayor Moreno, personally letting her know that what she experienced during the Crew of Tucks parade is not what the city of New Orleans is all about. They wanted to right that wrong and give her family a better carnival experience this afternoon.
That's unacceptable.
First of all, even if this is real,
about it.
Why not just lie to the kid and be like, "Oh, she's got a nice gold necklace." Just she doesn't need to learn about lynchings. Which, by the way, if you actually look into what was alleged, lynching victims had done to justify it, these weren't like random people picked up off the street for no reason.
Hey, it's a little girl. Lynch her.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not trying to, justify any extrajudicial killings or anything, but it's not like they happen for no fucking reason. Anyway, go on.
New Orleans City Council member J.P. Morrill called the incident a horrific hate crime.
Of course.
I noticed there were no charges for this hate crime. You saw the mayor included in that story there. New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno called the doll beating incident deeply offensive, unacceptable, and something that has no place in our city. The crew of Tux guys, the guys who were on this float, they have been banned, permanently terminated from whatever this organization is. They can't be on Mardi Gras floats anymore, even though the investigation has shown, quote, this is a statement from the organization looking into it. We have been informed that the crew members photographed and videotaped purchased 60 Barbie-like dolls. Oh, they didn't even buy real Barbie ones. They went off-brand. They're Barbie-like. Okay. Tariffs are hitting everybody hard. We can only afford Barbie-like now. 30 white dolls. So there were 30 white dolls and 30 black dolls for the purpose of throwing them to younger children along the parade route. So these guys bought racially diverse dolls for the purpose of accommodating the racial needs of those in the crowd. That apparently was a mistake. While the practice of putting a bead around a doll, stuffed animal, or some other toy to ensure it got to the hands of the intended parade goer is typical. So this is, again, the float people, the organization that ran the float. Yeah, we actually do this all the time. It happens every year. You take toys, you put beads around them so you can chuck them, and so the kids can grab them, and that's what we do. Well, that's typical, and so we know that is not a racial attack.
No one even cares about the white Barbies being lynched.
Yeah, nobody said a word about them.
Yeah.
It is our hope that the ongoing investigation will shed light on any practices by Tux that might facilitate ill-intentioned actions outside of the mission of any given crew and thus avoid future hurt. So you're trying to just give a nice gift to kids and it becomes a racial attack. No good deed goes unpunished. As we saw in the story there, the mayor did host the family at her office or her house or wherever this is. And she wrote on Instagram, quote, "Today the mayor and New Orleans City Council welcomed a family who caught a racist throw during yesterday's parade."
Racist throw. We're gonna find out the guy who threw it was black in like a week from now.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
A racist throw.
I mean, what are New Orleans demographics?
It's got to be majority black, I would think, but look it up. You're the fact check guy. You figure it out.
That's true. I'm getting an AI response first on Google, but it says between 53 and 59% black.
Okay.
So, I mean, it could be off.
And they have their white savior, Daenerys Targaryen mayor here.
Yeah. Is there like a white version of anything that has to do with rope and black people is automatically racist?
It seems so.
Like
you just can't associate these things.
If I give like an Irish person like potato, does that harken back to a dark time? Like where do we draw the line here?
Of course, I shouldn't be baffled by any of these, but the fact that you know this is a common practice and everyone involved knows this is a common practice and everyone involved knows that the guys on the float are actually very nice and intended to give this young girl a gift that was in fact racially sensitive because they picked the black doll to make sure that her racial sensitivities were accommodated, and still it's not good enough. And you are going to grant the premise of victimization here when everybody knows that's bullshit, and all you're going to do is incentivize future nonsense victimization. You thought it was a racial attack? Well, it wasn't, so why don't you shut the fuck up? How about that? Does anybody have the courage to say that?
Is there a GoFundMe yet? Did you mention that?
I haven't seen one.
There must be.
You can check that too. It's Shayna Lee, SHAYNALEE. See if you can find a GoFundMe.
I remember during the Shiloh Hendrix thing, you met my friend Ruby, the black gentleman. We were on a Zoom call together once. And
I can't remember.
He called you Flannel Man, and you were amused.
Yeah.
But when it was like probably 2 or 3 years ago. But when the Shiloh Hendrix thing happened, he texted me the video and wrote, "I'll make the GoFundMe. Can you please call me the N-word?"
Why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Make your own recording. See if it works. Yeah.
I don't see a GoFundMe, so that's at least there's not that.
Wow. They probably have some like city provided retirement plan or something like that. Okay. I have an episode of Real Hate. I'm pretty confident this did in fact happen. Have you followed the antics of Shia LaBeouf lately? It's been a little while since he's been in the news.
Not really, since the hate will not divide us, or the he will not divide us. And didn't he become Catholic because of that Padre Pio movie? I thought that was going to change him, but I guess
Shia is still shying, it
He's having
seems.
some gamer moments. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we all remember him from movies like Transformers and Fury and all the rest. And yes, He Will Not. I actually remember him most from He Will Not Divide Us.
Oh, I saw him in Wall Street too. I think he was in.
I never saw
It was a
that
good
one.
movie. Yeah.
But that was the 24-hour live stream to protest Trump that everyone trolled out of existence back in 2017 or
That
so.
was so good.
Apparently, Shia LaBeouf has been divided because he's now accused of committing a hate crime. And this is also in New Orleans. Shia LaBeouf was arrested Tuesday. He was partaking in Mardi Gras festivities. He was arrested after he allegedly battered and insulted two men. According to Jeffrey Dammit, yes, the name is Damnit. This is a drag name of this performer, Jeffrey Dammit. Jeffrey Dammit is one of the alleged victims who dresses in drag and wears full makeup, and he was wearing the makeup in the wardrobe at the time, I believe. LaBeouf punched him and a second man, calling them both faggots repeatedly.
Good.
Why did he do this? It happened at a place called the R Bar. The Guardian says they've reviewed the footage, and LaBeouf does indeed call these guys faggots. There's video of it somewhere. So a Guardian reporter approached LaBeouf at his nearby New Orleans home. Apparently he lives there or he has a home there. And according to the reporting here, LaBeouf gestured as if waving the journalist away and said, "Get your ass up out of here, you silly bitch." He then screamed, "Yeah, I am Shia LaBeouf," as the reporter complied with his request to leave.
Aww.
Now, what happened at the bar? Police say LaBeouf became increasingly aggressive during his time at the R Bar. He tried to punch a bar manager who was trying to kick him out for Shia LaBeouf-like behavior inside. Once removed from the bar, he punched the drag guy, Jeffrey Dammit, who was helping the manager remove him. LaBeouf returned later and punched Nathan Thomas Reed in the nose, even though Nathan told Shia he did not want to fight. Shia did want to fight, and he punched him. Reed is, in fact, a gay man, according to this reporting. So Shia could plausibly be charged with a hate crime in Louisiana, it sounds like. So far, he's only charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor battery, so no hate crime charge yet. But it's not the first time for Shia. The last paragraph in this Guardian reporting. In 2014, he was arrested for disrupting a Broadway show in New York City. He called the arresting officer a fag, according to the police report.
You're a faggot.
So, Shia LaBeouf has been divided.
Yeah. Well, maybe he didn't know he was gay at the time. But I don't know. Calling someone a faggot is a perfectly normal thing to say when throwing a punch at a straight person.
That's true.
You know.
But he was also interacting with a drag queen, which is...
I guess that is pretty obvious, yeah. So, never mind.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just trying to do some cover for Shiloh, but not doing well.
The life and times of Shia LaBeouf, always entertaining. But
Tim says he has a clip of the dolls being thrown. I don't know if we don't want to go back.
Is that, did he drop the dolls from the Mardi Gras thing?
Yeah.
Let's see. Tim, where'd you drop that? Is it in... I don't see it. I'll give Tim a second because I don't see it in the Discord. But Tim, if you want to drop
one, and then
well, that's all I have actually. So we'll get into Super Chat. We'll call it a night. But if Tim, if you want to drop that doll video, because I haven't seen the video, drop that in the admin portion of the Discord server, and I'll grab it in a minute. But while we wait, let's do some Super Chat. See what's going on there. Let's see. Quick refresh. Oh, wait. You know what? Hold on. Tim already has it. He's fast.
He's a pro.
Let's try this. He says, it's in this story. Scroll down. Hold on. Takes forever to copy and paste a link sometimes, but I'll get there eventually. I swear I know what I'm doing on the computer. Okay. It's in this story. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here is some video. Now, there should be sound here. Let me see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. What do we got for sound? Let's see. Authorities investigate alleged racist incident at New Orleans parade. Here we go. So, wait, what is it's a crack pipe float? And here are the guys throwing the dolls, and they're all in this crack pipe float. Here he is throwing them. Oh, so he's got the dolls, loaded into the beads, and he's throwing dolls and beads. How dare he? And we got statements from the politicians. So presumably that, if that's not the guy, that's one of the guys who was on this float. And that's the racist threat that was observed. Okay.
It's just so weird that we even go along with this stuff. I don't know.
Thank you for the footage, Tim. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's catch up with Super Chat. We'll call it a night. Over on YouTube, I got to give a refresh here, but where did I leave off? That's right. We had Newbie talking about the French, or the mafia being an acronym against the French.
Yeah, remember that one.
Taker 610. Can Trump claim his tariffs are undocumented, not illegal? That's one option, I think. He didn't try that defense in court. Thinking creatively, I like that. Esoterica Unbound. At some level, I feel bad for the Andrew formerly known as Prince. Clever.
That's good.
His predecessors in past centuries were renowned for being randy degenerates. He was just carrying forth that royal tradition. How different is Andrew from his ancestors? Right. Fair question. Tortuga. Who isn't seasonally depressed? I get depressed in the summer because it's too damn hot. I'm with you there. It resolves itself without human intervention. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I don't know. The only thing I don't know in that story is, like, what did he tell this doctor? Did he lie to this doctor about his condition or something? But you'd think the doctor would objectively evaluate. Like, if I go in and say, hey, I got stage 4 turbo cancer and I'd like to die, please. Presumably they would verify that through some sort of testing or a look at my medical record. Yeah. Can't just lie.
Someone should, like, O'Keefe this and see what is, like, the easiest, like, what is the bare minimum you need to be euthanized.
Yeah. Esoterica Unbound. What exactly did Mom expose again to get those beads? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nobody wants to see those, lady. Put those away. Maybe that's why she earned that toss, though, because those... Hold on. Where's the button? Somewhere in here. There we go.
Look at those massive jugs.
Those
at least the dad stuck around. That's good. So it's wholesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a plus.
Something to say about that. Yeah, good question, though. What exactly did Mom do to earn that bead toss? The racist bead toss. Okay. Purpose of the ages. Where is Shia LaBeouf's GoFundMe? He may be a grifter, but the man is going hard on the red pill grift, and I appreciate his commitment. I don't know if he has one. Yeah, maybe we can... Hey, Tim, let's get Shia on the show. I'd love to hear his side. I want to hear it. It's got to be a contact out there somewhere. Seems like he's got time. 10 minutes. Tell me what happened at our bar. Let's see if we can do it. Okay. Over on Rumble, also purpose of the ages. Let's see. Actually, back up. Perceptual Jonathan. Matt is from Minnesota, literally the state of hockey, and he doesn't give a flying fadoo about the most underrated sport there is. Shame. Also, Jack's brother Quinn now plays for the Wild. No, you're correct that I was born in the state of hockey. My entire extended family lives in the state of hockey. I don't care about hockey, and I've never been to a Wild game. I've been to a Columbus Blue Jackets game like a decade ago, and everybody told me you got to see it in person. Maybe you don't like watching it on TV, but you got to see it in person. I'm not a hockey hater. Okay, I respect it as a sport. I just some sports just don't. I don't know. Just it's not for me. But I do like toothless guys. Loving America and shitting on Canada. So if only for the day, I am a hockey fan. And I think one of the guys, I don't know, so there's obviously Minnesota connections on the team. One of the guys on the team is from Whitefish, Montana, too. So there's Montana connections to that team as well.
I like the fighting. That's I guess, like, the hockey, the fighting is like what the crashes are to NASCAR. It's like a secondary thing to watch for.
I don't really get hockey. People can explain to me why hockey or why fighting is like a part of the sport.
I think, and I mean, I'm in your boat and not really following sports. I think they let it happen on purpose under the theory that it gets it out of their system so it doesn't escalate later.
Okay.
I think, but I'm not. Someone will correct me in the comments.
For the record, I do follow sports, just the gay ones.
Bingo.
Nah, you are gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. LOL.
Thank you, Perceptual Jonathan. And you're right. I have no excuse. I don't know. Hockey's not gay enough for me. That's the problem. Purpose of the ages. 2 families in my life have transformer adult children. Many years after allowing these men live in their homes, both are moving away and denying their sons to follow. I take this as a good sign. Wait, I'm not sure I follow here. Okay. 2 families in my life have transgender adult children. Okay. People you know have transgender adult children. Many years after allowing these men to live in their homes, both are moving away and denying their sons to follow. Okay, I take this as a good sign. So you're saying that you know families who have indulged the transgender nonsense for their adult sons and are now moving on. Yeah, I think about this question often. That is to say, like, how would I handle this as a parent? And God willing, I never will. But certain people cross this threshold. Well, do you do the? Yeah, that's. I'm gonna get the racist beads and put them around his
even
neck.
Better.
Yeah. But seriously speaking, my sons are my sons. They will always be my sons. There is nothing they can do to make them not my sons. It doesn't mean they don't need justice if they commit terrible acts or live a terrible life. And I know that being transgender is not criminal per se in the way I'm describing, but it is contrary to God's design, God's purpose. Mm-hmm. In that regard, it's morally wrong insofar as it is a deviation from that purpose, from the way that God made you. It is saying God made a mistake and I'm correct and I'm going to live my life according to my own design. So what would I do if my sons were doing that? I would, under no circumstance would I indulge it. But if could they live in my home if I was trying to counsel them out of it or get them to move beyond it? Yes. But at some point, if they're adults and they insist on that lifestyle and they refuse your guidance, refuse your consultation, you do kind of have to move on. Family deserves your utmost loyalty, but the stack is God, family, country for a reason. And if your family betrays God, as in violates fundamental principles of morality or defies God's design in that way, it's terrible. And I wish the best for these families. And I hope that they are restored. I hope that they come back together on proper terms. But even family can be cut off if they insist on violating basic morality and God himself in that way. It sucks, but I'm sure these families have their reasons.
I mean, you could test how much they really mean it and be like, okay, you say you're trans, but are you trans if you're cut out of the will? Is it how trans are you really? Like, you're not so trans anymore. It's not worth that much. Okay, I guess not.
I like your whip-based approach here. Yeah,
I would, just to clarify, I wouldn't actually beat my children in that scenario. I would be I would resort to financial terrorism, like my proposal.
Tim's coming up in the clutch here. Tim reminded me.
We missed a segment, right?
Did you forget Surprise Cringe? You're exactly right. I did. But now that I'm in Superchat, we're going to call an audible. We're going to read the couple chats here. Then we're going to do Surprise Cringe. Thank you. And yeah, I know you meant, I didn't, when you said the next, I just assumed there wasn't a next because I'm so used to ending on Hoax Hate that I totally forgot it. But yes, thank you, Tim. I do have a segment or Surprise Cringe submission I'll get to momentarily. Purpose of the Ages. MC is legitimately the only professional in this operation. Nice. I wrote a whole long ago. Wait. Speaking of professional, I can't read. Thank you for the vote of confidence. I wrote a whole long and hilarious dig for all co-hosts, but it was too mean. But seriously, Matt C is the real pro here. No.
Well, I kind of want to hear it now.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. Yeah. You roasted everybody, but we don't get to hear it.
Yeah, I'm being deprived of something potentially very funny or soul crushing.
Thank you, Purpose of the Ages, but appreciate your vote of confidence. But I appreciate all of my shotgun sitters and my friends who help make the show possible as well. I don't know if I'm a pro, but I know how to push enough buttons to make the show happen. That's all we need. And so far, Matt.
It's going to happen in the last 2 seconds. There's going to be a major tech outage.
No technical problems so far tonight, so we're on a roll.
History.
Lenny can put that sign up. It's been 1 day since a stream failure. Skulldugger, to be fair, was the drag queen being a faggot?
Bingo.
That's really the big question.
Yeah, we didn't get clarity
It's the
on
Louis
that.
C.K. Thing. Yeah.
Shia vindicated. Yeah.
I know you're not a movie guy, but you ever see like 21 Jump Street when Channing Tatum punches the gay black kid, and the kid's like, "You punched me because I'm gay and black," and he's like, "No, I punched you, and you happen to be gay." It could be that, kind of thing.
All right. Well, thank you to you, Matt, and thank you to Tim for saving me on the surprise cringe, because I would have totally forgotten. I think this is a worthy submission. It has been a while since we've had a surprise cringe submission. I think this is a good candidate. Normally, I don't say anything before I give. I don't know if you and I have ever done surprise cringe.
No, it was good to me.
I mean, the name is what it is. I'm just going to throw a clip at you, and you're going to have no information, and I want to see the reaction. Normally, I don't say anything about what you're about to watch. The only thing I'll say is that I'm not sure if this narration is authentic or if it is done for someone else observing for comedic effect. But here you go.
It's pretty sad. This is a bunch of theater
Have you seen this yet?
Paying
Oh, you saw it
tribute
already.
to Renee Good, and what they're doing is they're using their bodies to make the car that she was using to observe life after dropping off her kids. And then the ISIS came out and was going to try to murder her. They wanted to. And she's just, no, let me go back. And boom, boom, boom. And they executed her right there in broad daylight. And then she flew up to heaven to be with Jesus Christ, the brown Jesus. And then the car's going away.
So it's dubbed over.
And the people are flipping around. And then here comes Alex Pretty. And he's saving the woman from the Nazis. And this is exactly how it went down. They were fighting around. They did a little twirl like West Side Story. And then he's like, oh, I don't want to dance with you. But he goes, you're going to dance with us. And boom, they shot him. Boom, 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 boom. And he's dead on the ground. And they're like figure skaters saying, see what we did? We just destroyed democracy. But then the people of Minnesota all got together like the Munchkins and did a little happy dance to show America that Minnesota's not racist. The Nazis are the racist ones, and we're going to stop them with love and joy. And then they come back from heaven, I guess, and they're looking at each other and they're like, hey, you want to go get some Pizza Hut? And they're like, okay, we'll go get some Pizza Hut. And resist.
Pretty good.
Whoever did that voiceover is great. I like how we called ICE the ISIS. And then clarified that Hitler was racist. That was good too.
So you've seen the clip. Do you know you gather the context, I guess, but do you know the specifics of who that was and all that?
I don't know who it was narrating. I assumed it had to be a joke because first of all, they don't believe in heaven, but then he did and then clarified it was the brown Jesus, which and he's, it was very well done.
I don't know who the narrator is, so I assume that is a bit. But the performance and the depiction of an ascension, presumably to heaven, to be with brown Jesus, is authentic. These are Broadway and former Kennedy Center dancers staging a protest. This performance in protest of, in opposition to the Trump administration on President's Day. This portion of the performance was. Of course, an entirely fictionalized reenactment of the so-called murders of Renee Good and Alex Pretty. And the video was posted on the Instagram accounts, two of them, at Hungry Man Inc. and at First Amendment Troop, with the caption, quote, since Trump fancies himself a chairman of entertainment at the Kennedy Center, because they're doing that renovation, he's going to name it after him or whatever, we thought we would show you the tragically un-American script he's been writing. The dancers only completed some of their routine before they were stopped by DC police. So
the Nazis got them.
Good for them.
How do you even choreograph this? I don't know. I'm so not artsy. It's so alien to me that you could even get a group of people to agree to do this.
Well, how do they do it? They're Kennedy Center employees, I believe, and
they're all fired.
I'll remind you that the Kennedy Center, while not totally funded with public money, about a fifth of its budget is federal funding. So
at least it's now the Trump Kennedy Center, is it not?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess now
I don't think he can legally rename it, but who cares? I think his name is on the building.
Didn't they put up the sign? Yeah, I don't know. But if they're going to keep doing crap like this, Trump has to remove his name from the building, or he has to get control.
Or he is gay then, by proxy.
Of this obscene operation. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. I think just a chat or two. We'll call it a night. Tim said in the chat, there was... sorry.
Shia LaBeouf would have punched all these people.
Shia LaBeouf could clean that scene up really quickly.
I just stole that joke from a Tim text, basically.
Anyway. Right. He can do writing for us, too. Tim says, that was when I had... quote, that was when I had to take away her innocence and explain what this was. You're talking about the mom. Because she said, I had to take away my daughter's innocence and to tell her about the real world, the racist world. No, in fact, a good parent picks and chooses what to tell them to ensure their innocence is maintained as much and as long as possible. I bet she's some sort of activist. Yeah, it's what you were saying too. Even if someone said, "Hey, a black girl, let's mock her with this black Barbie and put beads around her neck to imply some sort of lynching," you are allowed to say, "Hey, here's a nice doll, little Shaniqua," or whatever your name is. Enjoy your doll. Have a nice day. You are allowed to do that. You don't have to confront these supposed difficult truths if you don't want to.
And I don't believe this is the first time she's talked to her daughter about racism. I believe this is kind of brainwashed from a very young age, these people.
Let's see. I think that's it. I think we're actually all set. We're good on Rumble. We're good on YouTube and Tippy. Okay. Anything else you want to say before we're out of here?
I will defeat COVID. Again.
Well,
I think this is my 4th or 5th time having it that I know of.
I don't even know how many times I've had it because I've never taken the test because I think that taking the test itself is a monumental act of homosexuality, actually. So
that means my wife and daughter are gay. Fuck.
All right. Godspeed in your COVID recovery. I probably have it right now too.
The
I have
worst
no idea.
news to end on.
Thanks
See you
for
next
tuning.
week.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our live chatters and super chatters for making the live show a success. If you're listening on demand later, thank you kindly as well for supporting the show. Thanks to Matt Palumbo for sitting in. You can find his latest book on Alex Soros and follow him on X at Matt Palumbo 12. Both of those things are linked in the description for you.
Great book.
It's highly regarded, my sources say. Check the Amazon reviews. Write your own. Contribute to that.
Yeah.
Thanks to producer Tim for his assistance and saving the surprise cringe segment. We appreciate that. Find everything show-related at mattchristiansenmedia.com or mattis.gay if you prefer brevity. I'm back on Wednesday and Sunday nights. Have a great night and a great week. By the way, I just want to congratulate ourselves on a tech problem-free stream. Thanks, everybody, for making it possible. This is a monumental achievement.